Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode number 199. I am Brendan. Kennedy's the Chekwu versus Iwan Kutalaba, the fight UFC Fight Night. We're going to cover the prelims here. If you're looking at the main card, including the main event, that's in the last video. If you're looking from the Bellator from the past weekend, it's in there. I know this is a little bit late. Subscribe to the channel if you like fight breakdowns, trying to understand horrible decisions. I do all that stuff here. Let's get going. No more delay. This has been too long since I put this out anyway. I know it's a little bit late. We're going to cover Jennifer Maia versus Maryna Moroz and the rest of the prelims. If you're looking for the any specific fight, the timestamps are down below, so you can click onto those. All right, let's get started. All right, Jennifer Maia defeating Maryna Moroz in a decent stand-up battle. To be honest, it wasn't bad. Jennifer Maia, the former title challenger, I think she's ranked number 5, and then Maryna was 13. Oh no, I was wrong. 8. She was ranked number 8, and then Maryna Moroz was ranked number 15. So before this weekend, that was their rankings. It's likely to change a little bit. Moroz might drop out of the rankings, maybe not. It does get a little thin down there at the lower end of the 15. Maia looked okay. She was just, playing counter fighter or counter striker. And some really nice straight shots from Moroz. She looks better at 125. She doesn't look so drained like she did at 115. Maia was landing the harder, like this hard right hand pretty much at will in this first round. Moroz was not moving her head off the center line, so she would move in for her combination. She would throw a lot, and you can see here she threw 61 shots. So she's throwing plenty, but she's just not hitting because she's out of range. And then that's okay, because if you are punching your way and striking your way into range, that's fine, because eventually you're going to land once you're in there if you're throwing your combos together and you're paying attention. The problem was she wasn't moving her head off the center line, and she was just an easy target for Maia, who was landing that right hand pretty much, like I said, at will. In the first clinch situation near the end of this first round, Maia was really showing how much stronger she was than Moroz. Easy round for her. Look on the striking numbers, 30-13 in favor of Maia. I gave that round to her 10-9. Going into the second round here, despite the commentary team, I would say that the second round was very close. The more impactful shots went the way of Maia in small bursts, but Moroz landed a decent amount of hard shots herself. I feel like she landed enough in the second round to warrant her getting the round. I didn't give it to her. I gave this round to Maia. There were some really hard shots from Moroz as she kept up with her. The striking numbers were dead even, 41-41. And she was doing a better job moving her head to avoid some of those bigger right hands. In this last round, I had a 2018 for Maia going into the final round. So Moroz landed some of her best shots in this last round. She even took Maia off balance. Depending on where you were sitting, I bet you thought that she got stunned by that right hand that Moroz threw. But she got outstruck in this last round as well, 38-26 in favor of Maia. All 3 rounds essentially looked the same. It looked like someone playing the same song, just to a different in a different key, basically, with same entries from Moroz, just slightly better landing percentage later on here. Actually, worse landing percentage, but only 26% in the last round. It was better in the second round. It's just she was throwing more volume. She threw less. Dude, anyway, there was... The rounds looked very similar. They all looked pretty much the same, and Maia just got the better of it in most exchanges. So I ended up giving it to her 30-27. If you gave that second round to Moroz, I understand. But I gave that fight to Maia 30-27. All 3 judges as well. One judge gave it 30-27. The other 2 gave it 29-28. Okay, let's move on here. Vince Morales versus Miles Johns. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up the fight. Okay. Interesting. for multiple reasons, but interesting. So let's talk about why this was weird. So this first round, halfway through the first round, nothing of note really happened. Neither guy landed a lot, and that was kind of weird for two guys who were apparently mean-mugging and talking shit, and they were like in each other's face before the fight started. And then they just didn't do anything. Neither one of them landed anything really significant in this first round. I gave it to Johns because he landed a left and a right to the body. That probably gave him the round. And if you look at the striking numbers, those two strikes are actually what put him in front. It was 10-8 in favor of Johns. Not a very active round anyway. A lot of these, 32 total attempts and 26 total attempts from Morales and Johns, respectively. It's not indicative of what it looked like because, one, that's even like a low number, but a lot of those really weren't striking attempts. They were just measuring, and they were all out of range most of the time. Very inactive. But I did give it that first round to Johns. Second round here, Johns with the pressure. He landed a couple nice leg kicks, and then he got a decent eye poke, so that was fun. The striking numbers were pretty close. I said that Johns might be sitting down more on his punches, and Johns ended the round with a body lock slam, and I gave it to him. But it was pretty close as far as the numbers. And here we go. Look at that, 13-11 in favor of Johns. I could see giving that round. I can't see giving that round to Morales now looking at the numbers because I thought maybe he had outstruck him, and he did outthrow him 43-32, and maybe that was deceived. Maybe I counted some in my head. I'm not keeping track. I'm just taking a look at what I'm digesting what I'm seeing, and when you're doing that live, I'm not keeping an active count, but it felt like Morales might have landed more, but they're virtually even anyway, and I just thought Johns was landing the harder shots, but not only did he land the harder shots, he landed more of them. And then here's this last round. Not a ton to grade on this last round, except for the grappling went the way of Johns. He had better position a majority of this last round. If you look at the striking numbers, they are in favor of Morales. I don't feel like he landed enough damage to outdo the minute and a half of control time that John. You know what? If you gave that last round to Morales, I'm fine with it, but it could go either way because Morales didn't do a ton of damage. Johns didn't do a ton of damage. So if you want to go, if you thought one of them did more damage than the other, that's an easy distinction there for you to grade. But let's say you thought they were about even. Well, now Johns takes it. He was more aggressive. He had the control time. So it kind of if you missed this fight, you don't need to go back and watch it. All right, let's talk about something fun and crazy. So, Ricky Turcios versus Kevin Natividad. This was a fun, crazy fight because Ricky Turcios is fun and crazy. All right. If you look at the striking numbers, they're all in favor of Turcios. So, I was very critical of him in his last fight versus Ayman Zahabi. And if you look at this one, you can see why. So, if you look at these striking numbers, 7 of 53, 10 of 84, and 10 of 98. So this is why I was critical of him. And one of the reasons I was upset about this wasn't because of Turcios' fighting. It wasn't because of his style or anything like that. You can do whatever you want. You can throw out strikes and ki all you want. Hia. You can do that all you want. The fact that it swayed the judges, I remember my notes from this. It swayed me a little bit. And that's a problem. This first round, he was outlanded by 5 strikes, even though he threw 30 more. So just the activity and making all that noise got all 3 judges to sway in the favor of Turcios, even though he didn't land anything significant. Didn't really hurt Zahabi at all. Just the noise alone and the activity was able to swing the judges, and that's a dangerous precedent, and I don't like it. That's why I was critical. Not of him, I was critical of the judging and their ability to delineate between effective offense and noise. So in this fight, good activity, Not quite as much because there's a lot of grappling exchanges, but landing much more effectively, much more efficiently in this fight. He did outstrike. He ended up he gets the split decision here. I would argue with it. Not who got the decision. I would argue why someone gave it to Kevin, but we will go through it. So Ricky with the activity as usual. He ended up on his back, and then he was landing some really nasty hammer fists from his back. So it's one of those few situations where being on your back, he was actually landing significant strikes and effective damage. And that's not common. It's not usual, but he did. I mean, they might be in the total strikes for him here in the first round. Some of these 49 of 62 that he landed, but because he's not standing or he's not on top, they might not count them as significant strikes. But and all hammer fists from the back are not created equal. Okay, two people have gotten finishes like that. You had Kevin Holland finishing Jacare Souza like that, and then I think Randy Brown got finished. Oh crud! By the dude from Florida. Randy Brown got finished like that as well. From Randy Brown actually got finished by actual hammer fist, not through punches, whereas Kevin Holland did punch from his back and got the finish. So you can finish a fight from there. It is not common, but it's easy to delineate once you start seeing the strikes land because Turcios was landing hard strikes from the back. This is the reason I'm going through this is because it's important to take into account how much damage he was actually doing through strikes, not just significant strikes, because they're not going to count like that. And then in every grappling exchange, Ricky was landing more damage. Even Kevin landed some big shots of his own on the feet, but here's the thing. So in every grappling exchange, right, it says that Kevin got 2 takedowns, but he did nothing with them, and he had very little control time. So this minute and 30 seconds, he was mainly either defending or just holding on. He wasn't doing a lot of offense from, so 2. He landed 2 strikes on the ground, whereas Turcios landed 12. So every time they were in some sort of grappling exchange, Turcios was throwing stuff at him, doing damage, and the round was kind of close as far as damage went, but I lean towards Ricky because even if you think that it was even, Ricky had the advantage everywhere else. So total striking number 17-9 in favor of Turcios. He never was rocked in this round. He did enough damage. The cumulative damage was in his favor. I think the immediate damage from Kevin was nowhere near enough to outweigh it. The grappling was in his favor. First round goes to Ricky on my books. Then you had the second round where Ricky gets rocked with the left hand, and then he gets back in close, more grappling, then landed a left-right combo. So immediately after getting rocked, he moves in and then lands a nice left-right hand by himself. Ricky was doing some constant damage again in every position. He did get rocked really bad, to start this round, and because the striking numbers are relatively close. So they were 22-17 in favor of Turcios, but he did get rocked pretty bad early in that round. And the grappling exchanges, Kevin was able to hold on to him more in this round, even though he wasn't doing a lot of effective striking down there. He did land six strikes on the ground, but he wasn't landing like crazy damage. He did land a couple good shots this round, and I gave this round to Kevin. So I had it 19-19 going into the last round. But it was close. If you gave that round to Turcios, I could understand. I don't agree with it, but I could get it. All right, last round here. A huge knee dropped Ricky almost immediately. And I wrote down, I was like, is he the new Tony Ferguson? Holy shit, because he gets right back up. Ricky just kept working every time. He just kept working for the switch. He would hit switches on the takedowns when he was getting taken down, because if you look at, he doesn't have a takedown in the second or third round, but he has a ton of control time on top. That's because every time he was taken down by Kevin or they got into a grappling exchange, he would end up in an advantageous position or working towards one, and then Kevin would bail and they would both stand up. So he had a body triangle locked in with 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and he worked on locking up a rear naked choke. It got pretty close. So he was underneath the chin with one arm, but Ricky did a good job defending. So he was relatively close with the submission attempt. And then he got back mount for the last 15 to 20 seconds, and he was landing nasty ground and pound. So you can see here 15 to 20 ground strikes, 15 of 20 ground strikes, many of those in the last 20 seconds of the fight, trying to get the finish. He did not get the finish, but because of that, I gave Ricky this last round. 29-15 as far as total strikes go. I understand that he did get rocked, but getting rocked and being flattened out with somebody on your back laying out ground and pound is, as far as like who was closer to finishing the fight, I would argue that they're both about the same. In fact, Ricky was probably closer to finishing the fight because any one of those strikes that he was throwing could have been the last one, meaning the referee could step in because Kevin's not intelligently defending himself. Whereas Ricky getting rocked and then immediately recovering and moving in on his own, yes, technically he was close to being finished because a harder shot would have knocked him out. But there wasn't a situation in which the referee was stepping in looking to stop the fight. So because of that, that's why I was leaning towards Ricky in that last round. I could understand I could kind of understand why a less sophisticated take would give that last round to Kevin, but thanks to Saul D'Amato getting it right and giving it to Turcios. But hold on, he got Saul D'Amato got it wrong. Later, I think later in the night. I mean, I've been giving him credit for doing a good job lately. And I mean, again, I think he probably was, on like 7 or 8 of these fights, and I think he got most of them right too as well. But everybody's gonna bitch when he gets it wrong, rightfully so. Gotta give him some credit when he does it right. All right, Maria Oliveira versus Vanessa Demopoulos. It's Tatopoulos. Tadopoulos. Godzilla. I think it was Godzilla 1996 or 1998. Movie was terrible. Still love it though. Bad movie. Vanessa getting the decision win here. I understand the Maria Oliveira being called Spider Girl because she's tall, lanky, has darker skin, and she's from Brazil. But the similarities between her and Anderson Silva are end there. As far as her fighting style, I guess she's decent on the feet, but her fighting style is nowhere near that stuff. She's not active off her back, obviously, because she got taken down a lot and spent a ton of time on her ass. Let's go through and talk about it. So, on the feet, Maria landed a couple good combos that weren't bad, but Vanessa landed 2 really hard leg kicks. And here's the thing. I don't think the judges didn't even pick up on it. Or it's not the judges, the commentary team. Rogan is usually really good at identifying that stuff, at seeing someone's compromised movement. And I think Vanessa, with that second leg kick that she landed here, in this first round, she landed 5 of 6. But that second leg kick that she landed, or maybe it was the third, you could tell that Maria wasn't moving right on it, and she wasn't able to plant as much as she wanted. She was even stomping a little bit on it to kind of wake it back up. So I don't think anybody else noticed, and she did a good job hiding it, but I did see that it was compromised. So I think if Vanessa really had dug in there some more, she could have, she possibly could have found a different path to victory. Vanessa got the takedown and worked her way to mount. She started laying down huge elbows to end the round, like huge elbows, big ground and pound to end the round. This first round went to her easy peasy, 10-9. Total striking numbers were in favor of Oliveira, 24-14, but they many of them did not have the sting that Vanessa's did, and the ones on the ground were really damaging. And she also did spend 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Every single round, about the same amount of time on her ass. She didn't bitch in this fight though, which was nice. There's a big left hook and then a right hand from Vanessa that dropped Oliveira in the second round. The huge ground and pound from Vanessa. It was a really dominant round yet again, and the striking numbers bear that out even more so. 27-24 in favor of Vanessa. Yes, when they're on the feet, Maria was able to land some stuff. I wouldn't call them very significant strikes. There was she landed decent stuff. It's just Vanessa obviously did more with the knockdown, and then on top of that, she was doing ground and pound in a dominant position. Last round. Vanessa was kind of fighting stupid, to be honest with you. She was running away instead of diving low on takedowns. She was trying to she was keeping her head up and basically walking towards someone and trying to trying to grab her that way, which is not a good technique. You got to you got to move your head off the center line at least, not just walk face first into punches trying to grab her. And she was she was super tired, so I'll give her a little bit of leeway, but she's got to have some awareness. She's up 2 rounds to nothing. She can clearly just win by coasting here. She is feeling tired, so using that information that she has, why not dive down on a single? Why not, avoid? Just uh, get into a clinch. Like don't reach for that stuff. Wait till she overextends. And then, I'll give credit to Maria. She was trying to finish the fight, and, the judges were or the commentary team was giving her a lot of credit and talking her up and stuff. Here's the problem. You want to talk about how much energy she has and her technique on the feet and how good she looks, and she's trying to finish the fight. And I know often people will harp on those things because that's the last thing that's seared in their mind, and they equate that with, oh, look, the person who was in dominant position for the past 13 minutes wasn't able to finish the fight. Therefore, all of that does not count. Look, she's the one who has energy left. Okay. Without getting too much into the nitty-gritty, because this video's already gone longer than I think it needs to, that's not how this works. It's a sport with judging criteria and a scoring system. That scoring system dictates how fighters lay out their game plan and lay out their fighting technique. So if you were to get rid of all that stuff and judge the fight as a whole, now we're going to look at a lot of different fights. The fighting is going to be a lot different, and I guarantee you, you're going to see a lot different fighting styles. Let's put it that way. I have my own opinion of how that would go, because we saw it in Pride. The other side of that, the reason she had so much energy is because she did nothing off her back. She wasn't offensive off her back. She was barely defensive. She was holding on a lot. She wasn't doing anything. And because of that, she had all this energy left over in the last round. Now, was that her technique? Was that her game plan to get down? Like anytime it went to the ground, just hold on and save your energy and wait till the other person tires themselves out. If that's your strategy, it's not a good long-term strategy. Okay. If that wasn't her strategy, then she needs to work on her technique, and she has a lot of work to do. I'm not going to give her credit for having all this energy in this last round trying to finish a fight that she's down 2 rounds because she didn't put any energy up earlier. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give her credit for that stuff. She needs to learn how to stay on the feet, and you got to learn to wrestle. You got to learn to wrestle. It's not going to help you that's not true. It'll help you every single fight. All right, Brady, Hiestand versus Fernie Garcia. Bam, bam. Getting it done via decision here. So Fernie landed a right hand that dropped Brady to a knee early, almost immediately. I think it was in the first exchange, in like the first 15 seconds. And then Brady just kept working for the takedown to recover. Then he spent 3 minutes and 25 seconds on top in this first round. Brady will not stop going for it on the wrestling. He kept losing position and going for stuff. So every time on the ground, he was he would either go for a submission or go for he would seek better position, and then he would either overextend or lose position, or Fernie would do a good job shucking him off, and then he would keep going for it and get position back just through determination and effort. Obviously, a ton of skill when it came to the grappling. And then there was a big shot from so that big shot from Fernie early was pretty much canceled out by bad position for the rest of the round, in my opinion. He did take a few shots on the ground, but it's close. I gave it to Brady. Just I'm not a fan of someone who lays in praise, but he was going for advancing on the ground. He was doing stuff. If you gave that to Fernie, I understand. I'm not mad at that because that first shot was bad. Bad for Brady. It was close. Second round here, Fernie was pressuring, he took 2 big head kicks, but still moving forward, so Fernie's got a chin on him. Brady landed 1 shot at a time, here and there, and then he got the takedown Fernie landed 2 good right hands, but at the end of the round. But this round again was Brady the entire time, 16-14 as far as total striking numbers. But he had close to a minute and a half of control time, and there was a lot of grappling. So Brady got the second round, and then this last round, Brady got the back, and he was attacking with a rear naked choke and punches. Fernie was grabbing the inside of the gloves repeatedly. He got warned once, but he was grabbing the gloves, the inside of the glove. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed like this. You're not allowed to grab the inside of your opponent's glove. Okay, you can grab their hand, you can grab their wrist, but you can't hook your fingers inside your opponent's glove. You can hook it inside your own glove, but not your opponent's. Garcia had his arms up at the end of the fight. Okay, so here's the thing. Not a lot of striking as far as significant strikes go, but there was a ton of ground strikes if you look at total. And yeah, they were in favor of Garcia, but the dude was he was in bad position for 4 minutes and 24 seconds. So none of those strikes were of any threat to Brady. And at the end of the fight, Garcia, like Fernie, throws his arms up. He's like, yeah, like I don't know what fight he was in or what he thought just happened, because there's no way any human with a working brain feels like they won that fight after getting dominated like that for at least 2 rounds, but really 3. He landed one good shot the entire fight that would have swung the fight in his favor. That's not enough over 15 minutes. It's not how it works. All right. Tereza Bleda. I think it's Bleda versus Natalia Silva. Silva's really good, man. Really good. She's got some stuff that she can work on, but she is very good. I think she's just a little undersized, which is, for flyweight, maybe she can drop down to strawweight. But Bleda was overextending, and Silva caught her with a really tight hook in this first round. The striking numbers, there wasn't a ton, to be honest with you. Silva she outlanded her 6-4. Bleda did a ton of work. She ended up getting a takedown, gets reversed, but then works her way and gets on top. Silva reversed again and got a head toss, but Bleda worked again through it and got on top. The Silva worked her way through using a sweep to get on top, but Bleda put her in a triangle, and that's what caused this stalemate near the end of the round. This first round went to Bleda. She was close to the submission, or she was working for submission. She was in offensive position. She was attacking on the ground, and most of the fight was, or most of this first round was spent on the ground. Second round here, Silva landed a great right hand to start the round, snapping Bleda's head back. Silva, she just looked great. She looks strong. She hits hard. She just needed to stop overextending and crashing into Bleda, because that was causing problems. That's what allowed Bleda to grapple with her and tie her up. Bleda was actually tired from all the grappling she did, and she didn't really do any damage in this round. She's getting tagged. Bleda did nothing as far as I'm concerned. 24-10 as far as the striking numbers in favor of Silva. Bleda did nothing. Huge right hand from Silva that rocked Bleda in this last round, and then a spinning back kick as Bleda attempted. I forgot this didn't go to a decision. I remember. Spinning back kick from Silva that puts Bleda out as she attempted a takedown, a la Uriah Hall versus Gegard Mousasi. It's the last time I remember that happening. Beautiful timing. I don't know if it's luck or skill, but I mean, it's both, obviously. But it's just very cool finish. Like I said, Silva looks good. I think she's a great addition, but I really would like to see her at strawweight. She's a little short. She's 5'4". I think she could fight at 115, and she's stacked. She's got decent muscle mass, and she might not be able to make it to 115 without really draining herself. So, all right, if you made it through, that is it. If you made it through this stuff, I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out. If you're looking for the main card or the Bellator stuff, that's in the last videos. If this is the only video you watch this weekend, I appreciate you. Really do. Thank you for spending your time here. Have a great week, and I love y'all.